Day 4. Hey guys. So, thanks for your questions, and yeah, we're excited about sharing today because today's question is a really big piece of the puzzle in your recovery, and
Yep.
it's very hard, but it's also very easy to do, extremely. And so, what is that, Lens?
The question is, how do you stay positive
Right.
with a chronic illness?
So, so really, I guess there's kind of three parts to this
For us.
for how we looked at it. And the number one was essentially just to what was number one? Have all backed up.
Body checking.
Oh yeah, body scanning. Yeah, for sure. Body scanning. So it's so easy to wake up, first thing in the morning, like, what's wrong with me today?
Right.
Like, what's going on? It's like, we know we don't feel well, right? We know we don't feel well, and we're, whatever. All these things are going on. All these things are going wrong with ourselves. And so, what I would say to you is that if it's not something new that's going on, right? It's not something new that needs to be addressed by either a physician or someone of the like, then it might not be beneficial to just continually body scan of what's going wrong with you during that time or during the day.
Yeah. It's easy for that to be the subconscious tape in your brain.
Yeah, even people without dysautonomia, right?
Yeah.
Before this, it's always easy to find something negative going on, right?
Right.
And so to practice, in your daily life of just,
So that kind of leads into the next thing,
right,
which,
number two.
as a support person for someone with a chronic illness, what I did and what we intentionally asked our family members to do was not just ask Tyler, how are you doing, but what's new and good. And that, you can't always ask everybody to ask you that. That might be awkward. But that could also become your ingrained way of replying to
Sure.
how are you doing. Because to be honest, the healing journey is typically for most people a longer one. So how are you doing today? How are you doing tomorrow? How are you doing the next day? How are you doing the next day? A lot of times you're not doing that well. But there's always something that you can find that is going good or something new. So for example, hey Tyler, how are you doing today?
Today was such a beautiful day. I just love the fact that it was fall out, and
Yeah.
we finally got a reprieve from this, massive heat. And it was just a beautiful day out
Definitely.
today. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So, perfect example there. Focusing on what's new and good, and that's a way that you can kind of shift that energy. And we're not saying to ignore things. We're not saying to shove down your feelings. There's absolutely a place to talk about all those things and
Absolutely.
feel all the feels. But what we're also saying is you don't want to
On your
live in that place
That's right.
because it trains your brain to stay in that place.
That's
and
right.
that's not going to be a healing atmosphere.
Right,
Because our
because-
thoughts become our DNA,
That's right.
become who we are.
So the saying goes as what fires together is wires together. So words wired together, fires together. I can't remember. But
Yeah, what fires together,
what fires together,
together.
wires together. So meaning what we're thinking about, that's what we become, right? Most of the time, it's like we're ingraining our neurological patterns to think that way, and so anyways, again, just focus on the good, and
And then our
yeah,
third
and the last
thing,
piece is the last piece there. Oh, sorry. Is to
at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day,
And she-
whichever,
and she's so good at
we
this.
would just lay in bed every night and we keep this tradition and we just say, hey, what are you grateful for today? And that just is a great way to, again, shift the energy and the space. Instead of, a lot of times when we go to bed, that's a hard time because we might have insomnia, we
Right.
might have difficulty sleeping, and then you compound it with just starting to think about all the negative things from the day. And instead, you can end your day thinking about, hey, what am I grateful for about the day? And there's always
And
something to be grateful for.
And that's an easy way to actually, when we're on that, just to thinking about it, it's a great thing to start even writing that specific thing down each day, like a gratitude journal. So it's like, oh, what am I grateful for? At the end of the day, I'm just going to write this down. This is what I'm grateful for today. And then 365 days later, you got a year, you got all 365 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah,
So,
and it can also help you track your progress. Say, for example, I remember specifically a moment where we were hiking on the back of a piece of property, and say 6 months prior to that, the hike we had done, Tyler had just barely been able to just breathe and walk and arrive. But then, 6 months later, we remembered, and that particular day that we did that hike, it was like, oh, I'm so grateful I could be out and be on a hike.
right, exactly.
But then 6 months later, it was like, we went so much further on the hike, and he was feeling great, and there weren't any symptoms. And so then we had something even further to be grateful for there.
Exactly.
So staying positive with a
Yes.
chronic illness is definitely not easy, but you'll build an inner strength as you start practicing these things, and an inner strength in your heart, but then you're also actually physically rewiring the brain and making your brain pathways stronger.
That's right. And that's what we want. We want that to build those neural networks, right, to become stronger. So we
And
don't
that
have
kind
all
of
these
gets
symptoms.
into this concept of limbic system rewiring.
Yes.
And that is another wonderful conversation and another wonderful thing to research.
Which I'm sure
and check out.
we'll go into it. I'm sure to some degree on here during one of our
Yeah.
one day of the 100 days. So this is only day 4.
Whoa! Just at the beginning. So
So-
shoot us your questions. Check us out on Facebook. We have a Dysautonomia support group there on Facebook. So find us there. We'd love for you to join and share your thoughts. We're on a journey of recovery and healing, and we just want to share what we've learned along the way and how Tyler went from
Oof,
really
bad.
being disabled
Bad.
to actually being functional, and just
Yay.
those symptoms aren't there, and it's such a blessing.
Yeah,
And
it
so
is.
we have to share that out, and we're excited to share that out. We feel
Yeah,
called
that
to
and
share
called to
that
do
out.
that. So please, share this with people so that we can share our story with as many people as possible.
Yes.
To the story of hope, that is. So
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us tonight. Come back for day 5 tomorrow.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye, guys. Bye.